What's up, Sooner Nation? Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. The Oklahoma Sooners, again, yesterday losing 34-3 in the 120th Red River rivalry in front of a national audience, uh, showing the major flaws that this team has in a lot of areas. Before we get started, check out the fan stop at thefanstop.com. Sign up for the Shirt of the Month Club. Make sure you like the Sooner Surge YouTube channel. Subscribe if you haven't. Guys, I know Jay was quoted last night saying worst offensive performance he's ever seen in his lifetime. He's not the only one. I've seen it all over Twitter. I've seen many people, those even played in a Sooner uniform, talk about how pitiful the offense was. And I said it last night on the live, guys. As the head coach, if Brent Venables walks into the locker room on Monday and has not addressed the offensive situation, either making a wholesale change with coordinator or at least giving someone else the freedom to call the plays or something, I don't know how he can make a case that he cares a lot about the state of the program. Because if he doesn't do that, guys, what he is saying to the players is we are okay with being last in the entire country in offense.
Yeah, I'll start off by saying I haven't been on the videos going to the game and all that, trying to get home back in Norman now, but completely agree with you, Jay. That is the worst offensive performance that I've seen in my lifetime for Oklahoma. I mean, before that final drive, Oklahoma had less yards than they did in 2022 when they didn't even score a point. That game, they were somewhat able to run the football. I mean, even then, Oklahoma's just – they couldn't do anything right offensively. I mean, you start off the game with the Billy Bowman interception, putting you in great field position to go up by a touchdown against the number one team in the country, the best team in the country by a wide margin in Texas. And they're not able to do it. It was an issue all game. There's so many issues with the offense. I mean, every skill group or every position group on the offensive side of the ball is at fault here. I mean, there has to be changes made. I think from a coaching standpoint, I think it should have honestly happened a few weeks ago. It's embarrassing. Oklahoma still hasn't had a 200-yard passer or a 100-yard rusher through 6 games. I mean, you're looking at Oklahoma this coming weekend. South Carolina coming to town. They almost beat Bama yesterday. I mean, Oklahoma might not win that game, and that's an issue because if Oklahoma loses that game, you're looking at potentially not even making a bowl game year one in the SEC.
Yeah, Hunter, you said it. The offense was just not even an offense that was really worth watching. It was that bad. We saw signs of it in the Houston game, an offense that really just seemed to fail to find a rhythm, which they have not all year. There's no identity on offense. It doesn't even look like half the time the players, like, they don't even know they're running. Like, guys are confused. Guys are getting lined up late still. And we're week 6, week 7 into the season, and guys can't execute plays. Now, obviously, Oklahoma, they're down their top 5 wide receivers. I'm sure that has something to do with it. But at this point, there's no excuse.
Not an excuse.
Yeah, that's what I was getting to. There's you've had these guys for the last 2 to 3 weeks. Get a chance to work them in, figure out what these guys do well that are healthy, and they can't seem to know how to use them. And the tight end room might be the worst unit on the whole entire offense, worse on the offensive line. There's no real threat there. Bauer Sharp is not good in blocking, and he's the tight end that's playing every single play. Jake Roberts is a non-factor in the pass game. It's like there's nothing this offense can do right. The offensive line can open up holes very well in the run game. The only sort of run plays they had any success on was getting outside. That was the only success they had offensively when it came to running the ball, and that was very few times. This offense has been an abysmal to watch all year. I've never seen an offense so bad in my life at the University of Oklahoma. I don't even know if I've ever seen an offense so bad that I've watched in a football game in general in college.
Hey, guys, first y'all misquoted me by saying I said it was the worst offensive performance of the year or that I've seen. I actually said this is the worst offense I've seen in my lifetime in Oklahoma. It wasn't a one game. And you know what? Last night I went on a little rampage before I went to bed and watched all the post-game lives that we've done this year. Every single one I've opened with, That's got to be the worst offensive performance I've ever seen in a single game. Next week against Houston, that's the worst offense. Guys, it keeps going, and all we are doing is diarrhea of the mouth. All of us, diarrhea of the mouth. Well, the tight ends. I'm done. Honestly, I'm done with the players blaming any players. Bauer Sharp, we can blame him all he wants. The guy's an athletic tight end. I'm not saying he's great, but what he's putting out there is pathetic. And you know what it is? Say all you want about they're down down to their sixth receiver. These are guys that were highly recruited. They can run slant and post routes. I'm so tired of who's playing quarterback. They're not any good. I'm done with it. This is a coaching issue. You have receivers like Petaway, year 2 in the system. You're telling me he can't run a slant route and make something happen? Yes, he can. It's coaching. I'm done with it. And you know what? This may surprise y'all. I think this is probably what happened. And I don't want to say probably. I'm not in the room. Brent Venable makes a hire to go to Seth Luttrell. All off season, they get into fall camp. He knows bad hire. I think through spring, through summer, just you hear how bad the defense was dominating. I kind of wonder if Brent's like, wow, screw the pooch here. This is not going to be good. Let's try to win it with defense. That's all we can do. Let's bench Jackson Arnold because he's turning the ball over. It cannot have turnovers. We cannot win with turnovers. Put Hawkins in, maybe get a few first downs with legs. That's just my opinion, guys. It's bad. We can talk about all position groups. They're not playing good in any position group, but you cannot convince me that some of these guys on offense could actually be an okay player, better than what they're putting out there. I think it starts with preparation of games. The preparation in every game this year has been bad offensively, every single one.
I'm going to agree with you partly. And what I mean by partly is, if you want to ask me what is the number one problem with Seth Luttrell, it's not even scheme, and it's not even because if you go to yesterday, just hold a second here. If you go to yesterday, he made a lot of changes from the week before about they didn't run the inside zone a lot. They ran outside. Obviously, he's trying to do some things different. The number one problem with this entire offensive coaching staff, not one player at their time of Oklahoma has improved. There's no coaching from week to week. You say, well, Petaway, surely he can run a route. Yeah, but then we don't have a quarterback who's going to pull the trigger. The line can't protect. They're all getting worse. Go to their first week here and their fourth or fifth week, they're worst players. What's the deal, Jay? There's no development. That's all the staff. I'm going to throw all their names out. DeMarco Murray, Emmett Jones, Joe John Finley, Seth Luttrell, everyone. No one's developed.
Real quick.
That's a big issue.
I want to say something else. I know it's probably not my turn to talk, but Germ, you can say all this thing that you just said. They are putting guys at positions. Brennan Thompson is a down the field receiver, and they're throwing. They're not getting. He's not even running his position. He's supposed to be down the field, Germ. Why are they putting him in position? He's not. Wait. Let me finish. You talk about scheme. He changed some things up. I have a problem with that. You know why? The scheme should be Seth Luttrell's scheme, and you make the players should be able to run your scheme if you're a good OC. You make it easy for the players. Instead, they put a whole new thing in there, which looks like they're slow motion trying to revamp this new offense. Germ, you changed the offense for Jackson Arnold. Seth Luttrell did. Now you change it for Michael Hawkins. Seth, run your offense. Will Stein at Oregon. I don't care who you put in there quarterback. They're going to look pretty good.
Longest
Go look at Mike Leach. Go look at Mike Leach's offense. Cliff Kingsbury, Graham Harrell. I can go down the list. They're not stud quarterbacks.
Longest
They
pass play.
They ran the offense good because he makes it easy on the quarterbacks. Seth Luttrell in 6 games, from what I've seen, has made OU's top highly recruited quarterbacks not look very good.
Yeah, that's what I said. There's no development. Longest pass play, by the way, was to Brennan Thompson, I think, yesterday on a 2-yard pass where he developed and got 13 yards. Guys, what needs to happen then?
I mean, I opened it with coaching changes. It has to happen. It's 6 games in for Oklahoma. I think both offensive coordinators, I don't know how they justifiably can remain with the team. Now, if that were to happen, I don't think it's going to really make Oklahoma have a chance to compete for the playoffs or anything like that. But maybe
Playoffs this year?
Yeah. No, I mean, like, I still don't think it makes Oklahoma somehow win 7, 8, 9 games, anything like that. It has to happen. It would give potentially something different for Oklahoma. Maybe that would help in the terms of the week by week preparation if somebody else was in charge of that. I mean, this season, I think for Oklahoma is a wash regardless, but you can't keep what you have right now around through the end of the season because it's going to continue to set you back even going into next year.
Yeah. Something to me that I think also needs to be changed is somebody really just needs to find a way to make one play this year. No one, like outside of JJ Hester and Mike Hawkins a few times, have we even seen anyone make a play this year that we've been like, all right, that's actually something on the offensive side of the ball that we can take away and be like, all right, there needs to be some sort of positive momentum. And Hunter, you said it. If that's the move to fire Seth Luttrell, then that's what needs to be done. Which honestly, it probably should have been done after the Tennessee game. It hasn't been done. At this point, I don't have any confidence that he's going to be fired the rest of the year.
Hey. Oh, are you still? Go ahead, Jackson.
No, you can go ahead, Jay.
I thought you were done.
Yeah, I am.
I was just going to say, it's not going to happen because of this. If Brent Venables fires him, Brent Venables has to admit he made the wrong decision.
But I think that's the first step he needs to make, Jay, is admitting that he made the wrong decision.
It's going to happen at the end of the year. I don't think it's going to happen during the season.
Well, I think that's going to put him at risk going forward. I mean, if you admit that you were wrong, you screwed up right now, and that you're trying to find something to change it to then, if whoever it was taking over, you see improvements to where that interim could be the named permanent coach or an outside coaching search, I think that helps. But if you go through it, I mean, it's making his seat hot at that point.
Hey, listen, my opinion is this: you have to make the move. I agree with you. For recruiting, for so many reasons, you have to make the move. Now, I hope they do. I don't know if they will, but let's just say, first off, they do, and they may make Kevin Johns play caller. Because first off, it doesn't need to be Joe John Finley. I know he's the co-OC, can't be him. So you'd have to go down to Kevin Johns, who's on staff as an analyst. You'd have to go down to him. He used to call plays at Duke. You could do that. And no chance whoever they bring in as an interim is not going to be the guy next year. I mean, no time. But the whole, I think Jackson talking about the explosive plays. It's hard to have explosive plays when the offense doesn't even know what they're running. And I watched a lot of football yesterday. It didn't matter what game I turned on. Receivers running open everywhere. Every team. They have, this guy running a slant, this guy running posts off each other. You're like, wow, good scheme. Jerm, shake your head all you want at it. I don't care. It's like a high school offense. I'm sorry. What I'm watching, the scheme, you can say it's not the scheme. What I'm watching scheme-wise does not look like a college offense. And it definitely doesn't look like the air raid.
It's not the air raid, Jay. It's try to get as few turnovers as possible, get a few first downs, flip the field, and try to win games. That's what they're doing.
At Oklahoma,
pathetic.
Cool.
It's pathetic. And Jay, BV set himself up for this, guys, because unfortunately, when you give two guys co-OC, you can't fire one unless you get rid of both, because otherwise you got to move that one into the OC role. I think if Luttrell goes, you also have to get rid of Joe John Finley or allow someone else to take over the play calling duties, because just because he's co-OC, I don't think you can say, well, here's the keys to this offense or to this 07 Honda Odyssey, as we've been calling it. Listen, the other thing, guys, is I don't think that, in my opinion, you look at personnel-wise, I mean, no one's talking about some of the other coaches on this offensive staff. There's a lot of bad decisions in the offseason. One is not having Tolly Walker on scholarship and having him go to Wisconsin. Ridiculous. Losing Savion Bird and Caden Green. Like, Bill Beatenbow's not off the hook. There's a lot of guys here. The line can't protect for 2 seconds, Jay. It's not just It's just not. It's a wholesale change.
Look here, I understand all that, Jeremy, and hear me out. I agree with your point of Savard's development, but I can't believe it. And this, I may be totally off base here, guys. I cannot believe it as I'm watching OU football, and I just cannot believe this to be true. That Gavin Sawchuk and Javante Barnes have decreased in development since 2 years ago. I think it's more than that, Jeremy. I think it's they're not running. They're not running the right stuff for these guys they have on the team. There's no way you can tell me that Gavin Sawchuk has went that far back as a running back. I can't believe that. Caleb Hicks didn't even play. They brought in Xavier Robinson.
Caleb Hicks is now 6th on the running back.
Well, and my point is this. My point is this, Hunter. Say what you want about guys aren't developed, whatever, that's fine. But I honestly, it's hard for me to say that when I'm not even seeing some of these receivers like Petaway hasn't really been given a chance. How do you know he hasn't developed? He's not playing. Or if he is, he's not running the routes that get. I don't understand it. I will not believe that. And I'm not saying they have dudes all over the field that can go dominate like Georgia or Alabama. I'm not saying that at all. I am saying anytime O-line, running back, you cannot dismiss this, Germ. This is, you had Lebby. Now you had Seth Luttrell. You're changing schemes. It's just not good. It's not working. And to me, it goes all. Yes, I said, I'm going to say 99.999999% on the OC hire.
I will say Barnes looked better than he.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to get on Javante Barnes. Dude's running hard. The O-line is pathetic, guys.
You're running a stretch play straight down vertical to the sideline. What's he going to do? He runs 10 yards this way and then tries to cut. I mean, that's a bad scheme.
That's a bad scheme. I know we've spent 17 minutes already, but the other thing that has to change is you got to play the young guys. Devon Mitchell has to play. EPL has to play. Eli Bowen was the highest defensive player yesterday, and he's a true freshman. A lot of their best plays are true freshmen. Guys, are you agreeing that Devon Mitchell, EPL, guys like that, let's get him in before we lose him?
I think it needs to happen at this point where, I mean, it's pretty obvious Oklahoma isn't going to the college football playoff. They're going to struggle to even make a bowl game, in my opinion. I mean, South Carolina, again, almost beat Bama yesterday. They're going to be in Norman 11:45 on Saturday, and Oklahoma might lose that game. So, yeah, go with the young guys. I mean, offensive line especially. I mean, what they have right now, it is not working. It's just not. I mean, it really is not working. Devon Mitchell, I don't think he will play. I mean, with how Brent Venables talked about him a few weeks ago in a press conference, should he? I would think so. I mean, I don't think he could be worse than what Oklahoma has out there. I mean, the kid, uber talented, reclassified, and you look at him, he looks like an SEC tight end already, and he's supposed to still be in high school. So I think across the board, I mean, you're seeing it with Eli Bowen, as you mentioned, Jerome. He played a great game yesterday, true freshman. Give the young guys a chance and start looking forward to the 2025 season.
Yeah, I think it's just super frustrating as an Oklahoma fan to know you had all these players that decided to return on defense. You get guys out of the transfer like Dominic Williams and other players like that. And you have an offense that's not even a competent offense that is going to give you a chance to compete in a lot of games. Because when the defense is having the majority of the games they're in to be on the field for 60 to 70% of the game, they get tired. Whenever they force turnovers, give you chances to punch it in the end zone, make momentum plays for your team. It's not getting done. You're missing field goals, bad clock management, all this stuff. I mean, it goes on and on. Yes, the offense is bad, but there's been some poor clock management. The defense against Texas, they didn't tackle very well at all. That's the worst probably they had tackled all year long. It's like at this point, nothing can go right for Oklahoma. And it's because they're finding ways to shoot themselves in the foot. And the offense, as we all have said it over and over again, it's an abysmal watch.
Hey, last thing I'll say, Jeremy, if you want to close, I don't want to beat a dead horse, but I don't want to hear about special teams. I don't want to hear about the defense. The defense played good enough to win about every game they've played. This comes down to the offense. The offense is abysmal. It's awful. I don't want to beat a dead horse, but you want to know why Oklahoma's 4-2? And by the way, guys, hear me. should have lost to Houston. Very well could have lost to Tulane. This team could be sitting here with 1 or 2 wins. And then what's happening? So it's absolutely pathetic offensively. They couldn't do anything on Houston. They couldn't do anything on Tulane. They didn't really do a whole lot on Temple. It was kind of a disguised 51 points. I'm kind of like, I've gotten arguments with people on the defense. Yeah, they've had problems. I don't care. That's not the issue. This team, they've been good enough in other areas to win games. They haven't been even close to good enough to even sniff games offensively. They're lucky to have won what they've won.
Seth Luttrell's sample size for this season is plenty to be justified to make a change. Will BV make a change? Time will tell. I think something has to be done by Monday morning. Will it? We'll wait and see. But otherwise, the message that is being sent to all of Sooner Nation is we are fine being at the bottom of the barrel on offense. That's the message that's being sent. Drop your comments in the video. Thanks for subscribing to our channel. If you haven't, please do so. And thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.